There's a saying, Robin Sharma, that says it's hard at the start, messy in the middle, and worth it in the end. And I really feel like it's giving yourself grace when you're actually building a new habit by looking at it in those three different phases. And I'm doing this one habit right now. This will how I finish it. That I'm doing 100 days of pouring all energy into myself, my business, and my friends, and not dating. I'm not flirting. I'm not focusing on men. And what I've accomplished by not having so much energy going out to another person and obviously my friend.
This podcast isn't just another conversation. It's a standard. This show is about cultivating an unshakable mindset, mastering focus, and gaining the clarity needed to lead with conviction. To go beyond this episode, visit the Prime 40 website for tools and insights built for growth. I'm Jack Lima. Welcome to the Jack Lima Podcast.
It's definitely different working for yourself than working for a Fortune 500 company. I've experienced both. I'm still doing both, but it's an opportunity, right, to make a change, and I got into this business 20 years ago, working for my opening fitness gyms, health and wellness. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease at the age of 15.
I saw that.
And 1988, when I got diagnosed, it was no social media, right? There is no, you got to go to the library and pull an index card to do research on anything. Either had to use that as an excuse to get through life and just feel bad for myself, or figure out a way to kind of mask it and try to use it as a motivational tool versus an excuse why I don't want to get out of bed today. I don't feel like I need to work today, blame everything on my chronic illness. I lived through a life of trying to challenge myself and using it as I guess, as a tool to get ahead in life. And thank God, I've came on top with fitness and work and professional careers and marriage and kids and all that. But more importantly, I think the whole purpose of becoming an entrepreneur is to share experiences that most people, don't really have any outlook, and like yourself is like you're trying to help these brands get out there, and people want to hear your brand, but you probably know more than I do, Jessica. It's so much noise out there. How do you trust who? How do you get in front of the right people? And how do you connect? And like Mickey's connecting you and I together, which is great. But again, we would never meet unless there was a connection. So I've tried the
I don't
social media
know.
route.
You say that, but I went on Facebook and I saw that I was a part of Optavia for a little while, for
Yes.
2 years, and you're connected to Tia and Doug,
Yeah.
who I was in a part of their sphere for 2 years. And
Wow.
also you interviewed Summer, and
Yeah.
I know her also from Scottsdale. So I feel like it's just like goes to 6 degrees to separation. And honestly, I feel like it's often within the same financial group. It's really 1 to 2, especially because it shrinks the numbers within your group if
Yeah.
you are higher up in the food chain.
Yeah. It's
But
funny. Yeah. We,
yeah.
we, we actually got baptized at Tia's and Doug's gym last summer at the gym, rebaptized, and they become great friends, and they're amazing people, as you can
Mm-hmm.
imagine, and changing lives. I don't know if had an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to come back to Scottsdale, but you've
Yeah.
go check out
I
the gym.
haven't gone. I know I haven't. I've been back a couple times. She asked me to come, and I lived there for so long. I have so many friends, and my kid. I have twins that are there, and so I, you some things you have habits of. So I'm used to going to Mountainside. So
Yeah, yeah,
sorry,
it's great. So
sorry.
tell me a little
Yeah.
bit, like
Okay.
for our listeners who are listening, and obviously want to share them some insight what you do. Kind of give us a quick little bit bio about yourself, where we can't just find this online.
So, I mean, you're going to be able to find some of it, obviously, because I have some broad strokes, but you and I have something in common in terms of an illness. Mine didn't happen until I was an adult. I couldn't walk for a year because I had breast implant illness. They were toxic for me. They're not toxic for everyone, although they're toxic enough for people that the FDA there's a warning label on them now. But I didn't know for 10 years what was going on. And I couldn't walk for a year. And I've been an athlete my whole life. I swam competitively from 7 years old all through high school. And then I started training for marathons, 10Ks, lifting weights. I dated a trainer, so I learned how to lift weights. And since 2014, I have been working my ass off to get back to being healthy again. And my feet, ankles, and calves were so swollen. And my whole body was in so much pain because I got symptoms like arthritis, and my feet and tendons, ligaments, and joints and muscles all atrophied during that year. And I saw this one older lady with these swollen calves and feet, and I was like, that is not going to be me at her age. That's unacceptable to me. And so I did Orange Theory for 2 years. I did 75 Hard 2 times in a row. I've had a trainer for the past 4 years, 4 different ones because I've lived in different cities. But my current trainer right now has just helped me so much gain back my strength. And I think it has something to little do about being in Texas. Again, just people here are I'm originally from El Paso, and people in Texas are just so inviting and welcoming. And even though there's a ton of Californians and other people who have moved here, it's so infectious, the inclusiveness, that it's bled into who they are as well. So it's really beautiful. And I will say that I have dyslexia. So while I didn't have an illness, I struggled significantly in school growing up. And that I think that especially as a child, it's really important for our kids to struggle. I celebrate every time my kids have a struggle internally. I don't celebrate it to them. I'm supportive to them and having them, help them figure out how to move on to the next part after they've had this struggle. But as a kid, if you learn how to struggle, you statistically are more successful as an adult because you learned that muscle of how to persevere and how to keep moving forward even if you don't have success. I got F's all the time. I'm not proud of it. My parents, but in some way, like Gary Vaynerchuk, he talks about his failures in school. I have dyslexia. So school was built in the Industrial Revolution to make everyone the same and so that they could be employees. And dyslexics thrived before that. Sorry, I need to drink some water. They thrived before that because they did apprenticeships and worked with people who were already experts in what they should, what's natural comes naturally to them. Anyway, so I struggled a lot in school, and I kept still trying for 12 years, really longer after even high school. And I figured out ways how to do well in different ways than how the school system required. My mom and I paved the path for the accommodations that exist right now for kids. There were no accommodations in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And my mom was a former teacher, and so she and I went to the principals at all my schools, and so that I could get accommodations, even when they said, well, that's not fair. It's making the playing field uneven. Like, Jessica has an advantage. And she's like, no, it's evening the playing field for Jessica because she doesn't learn the same way as everyone. So just early on, because of her strength and also my dad giving me so much. He just was such a pioneer at that time too, he played these tapes for us when we were sleeping that told us positive affirmations about our, and that's like 70s, 80s, and 90s. Like, who did that?
Yeah.
No one. It was not very, So that's kind of a little bit of a frame. I mean, I could tell you more. I know we have time, so I'll go.
Yeah. No worries. What do you think is the biggest mistake people make with their fitness?
I think especially with social media now, people are so used to instant gratification. And that's something that I learned early on, not doing well in school and not, having struggles regarding my entrepreneurship, is that period in life, it takes incremental growth. When my kids were in sixth grade, their teacher said to me, oh, they're doing incrementally better. And I was like, what does that mean? And so I learned that word, even though I really knew what it meant, but not in other areas of my life. And it's really about people not giving up on their progress, right? And just keep taking steps. So I feel like I don't like the word most, but a lot of people give up too soon before they're actually about to have success.
Do you think that was the case before social media? Because of course there is a lot more outreach now where they're putting the perfect picture up there, the perfect angle, the view, they're touching up the photos, they're using filters. And people think, and I'm like, nobody looks like that, 12 months a year. And if they do, it's all retouched. And the fact that these kids are seeing it, my son's 25, and he's like looking at all these people at 25 that have millions of dollars. I go, Miles, that's like one out of maybe 20 million kids that might have that kind of money, or maybe it's just all show because obviously everything on the internet, Jessica, is real, right? Everything is truthful on the internet. But the thing is, I realized in fitness that once the struggle becomes hard, they give up quickly because like, why can't I have that car? Why can't I have that body? Why can't I have that vacation? Because they see it on social media on their feeds that these kids are traveling and have these things that they don't have, and they come back to a normal life and go, you have a roof, you have a car, you have education, you have food on
Yeah.
your table, you have money in your bank. So what? You don't have $1 million in the bank, and they get depressed, and they get this like self entitlement, like I deserve that. I'm like, get to work,
And
start
live
working.
on debt, like
Yeah,
credit card
yeah,
debt. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's
Of
sad.
course, it existed
Yeah,
before social media, but like you said, it just makes it feel so much more out of reach, right? Because someone looks XYZ. I've been working since my whole life. I've always wanted to, like, I have to do that in order to get cut, right? In order for me to see cut. Now today I was doing shoulder raise. I forget what they're called. What are those
lateral
called?
raises, lateral.
Lateral raises. And I always have my trainer make videos of me so that I visually can see you are cut. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
not like when all the time.
Body dysformia. Yeah,
Well, I think everyone has that because
they do.
I don't use filters on social media. I just want to say that because I think this is really important because I want to like how I look. And if I put filters on it, and then I'm gonna think that that's how I should look and be sad that I don't look like that. And so for me, I mean, granted, I naturally have beauty, and with that, and when I was 10 years old, I thought I was ugly. And my dad told me for 2 years, he made me go in front of the mirror and say that I was pretty in myself. And then, so ultimately, I believed now that I'm pretty, but not everyone, and everyone is beautiful. Everyone. It's just, is the other person attracted to you or not? Like, everyone
Yeah.
has beauty within, not only inside them, but on the outside too.
When did it hit you that you felt that you needed? For example, it hit me when I was 15. Right, I was real malnourished. I was sick. Had a lot of problems with my condition. I
Yeah.
knew that I would go to the mall. This is back in 1988, right? I would look at a magazine, like a muscle and fitness magazine. Arnold Schwarzenegger was on the cover. I'm
Right.
like, man, how do I look like that, right? And then you start seeing before and after pictures, like you want to emulate that person. So I knew by emulating that body type, I could hide my sickness. I wouldn't look like the sick kid or look like that, I was malnourished. So I started taking weight gain. I started doing protein shakes, joined Bally's gym back in the day when they had
So
Bally's off the
good.
East Coast, right? And so a lot of kids today, or even people over 40, like, I want to look like that, but are you willing to sacrifice the time? And do you have the, I don't know, you have to have it inside you. You can look great for 2 weeks. A lot of people give up after 2 weeks, as you probably know. Like buy the protein
Yes.
shakes, they do the magazines, the fitness, and then when they start working out and it gets too hard, like, I don't have results. It's going to take you 6 months to get results, not 2 weeks, not 3 weeks. And a lot of people give up quickly on that. So for you, how do you keep motivated? Because I motivate myself by competing. I still compete in men's fitness division, so it keeps me motivated. But how do you stay and go, I want to maintain what I have, or hey, as I get older, I'm just going to be okay with the way I look.
No, I do
Mhm.
not say that I am okay with how I look. Never. I feel like just like looking back at that older lady who had these swollen calves and ankles. No, I always care about, growing, right? I feel
Yeah.
like that's just part of my DNA. Again, I struggled in school and still kept going and had successes in other areas. But I feel like you have to compete with yourself. Most people are trying to compete outside of themselves. and compete looking on social media? Yes, of course. I have for my vision board for my body, I have images of myself, but I also have images of some other people based on certain parts of their body that I like, but I don't have their head part of it. I just have body parts so that my brain can, I'm having feedback, so that my brain can see that it's possible, even though that's not my body. But if you put things that are related to that already are part how your body is, plus someone else, it tricks your brain to thinking that it's you. And so I do incremental things like that to motivate myself. And then also I get so excited when I'm in the gym with my trainer, and I know I'm weird like this, that I get we pay attention to my strength too, my growth. And so today, I videoed, like I said, for lateral raises because I was so excited looking in the mirror that I could see the front part of my shoulder. And so to me, that's a reward. That's celebrating my success. And the reason I also video it is because I want to go back at it, to it, and give myself dopamine, give myself my own dopamine, not on social media, but my own success, because I don't know, that's just, I'm self-motivated like that. And I know not everyone is, but they can be. They can build this muscle.
Yeah. So what keeps you grounded when things get hard?
So let me say this. So I was married for 23 years and sending him love. He and I raised our children. He is a lacking, limited mindset person, and I've always been an abundant mindset person. And so when I left him, and I've also been so involved since I was 19. Well, and also, what my dad did for us. But when I was 19, I took Dale Carnegie for the first time, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And back then you could take it over and over again as long as you were being an instructor and assistant for free. And so I did it for 10 years. I did it from 19 till I was 30. So then when I left my husband, because I had lost a lot of my self-worth during our marriage, I gave that up, my autonomy. I have to take ownership of how I gave something up too. If he can't just take something away, I gave it away. And so I just spent a year with Tony Robbins. It's called Platinum Partnership. And it's where you can go to as many programs in that year as you want. So I moved to Miami, and he does most of his programs in West Palm. And I went every single one that was live. And then after Tony, I was still feeling like I learned so much from him, but I felt like needed a little more one-on-one. And so I hired this mindset coach, Justin Grima, and we did these repetitive things. Like, he has these videos that you watch, and most people they brag that they read thousands of books in a year. But a quote that I learned from him is that, what's his name? Who's the famous karate guy?
Norris?
No. Asian.
Jackie Chan?
No. Before that, the OG.
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee says, I don't fear the opponent that does 10,000 different moves. I fear the opponent that does one move 10,000 times. And so we watch these videos over and over and over again. And then each week would be a new one. Like, you'd watch it for a week and then start a new one. And what it does, it's, linguistic NLP, rewiring your brain. And so I worked on how to become my best friend, how to love me. I repeat to myself all the time, I love me, I love myself, I love you, Jessica, I love you. Because ultimately, you have to love you more. And I know that's such a cliche, but it's true. I'm more happier now in my life being single with no one, on my own, focusing on pouring love into me. Because by the time I have a new relationship, I don't want I want it to be an enhancement. Together, it's just a bonus. It's icing on the cake. So I think that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, as your kids, like my son's out of the house and your kids are out of the house, it's now about I call my program, it's called Prime 40. It's the second prime of your life, right? Because in your 20s, what are you working on? It's like you eat whatever you want. You have plenty of time, so to speak. You're not raising a family. You're not married just yet. You have all the time in the world, and you can kind of just go through life. But when you get 40, you have all the money in the world, but you don't have the time. But now you have the knowledge, and you're like, okay, I raised the kids, I took care of the family. Now I need to take care of myself. And too many men over 40, I realize that they all, approach me at work and go, how do you stay consistent? I go, well, I have my own reason why I stay consistent because of my illness. I don't share that with them, but it's just a habit of doing, like I said, same thing 10,000 times, bringing my food to work, prepping my meals, three times a week, right? Doing those kind of things to stay on the
Yes.
calendar. If I'm going to go out of town, I bring meals to me on the plane so I don't have to eat the airport food. It's
Ugh,
consistency. And a lot of
totally.
people find it really difficult to stay there. I go, what's so hard about making your own meals? What's so hard about going to the gym for 1 hour of a 24-hour day? And it's always like, well, I don't have any time. Like, you will have time for the things you want. You want to go see your boyfriend, you'll make time.
Mm-hmm.
You want to see your parents, you make time.
Totally.
Fitness is you get one body, right? One body to work with.
That's right.
It's so funny that you'll spend $5,000 on a purse or $2,000 on a pair of shoes or $30,000 on a Rolex, but you won't sign up for a trainer that's certified in one, physical, two, mental, and
Yeah.
spiritual. There's three
Yeah.
components to a body,
Totally.
right? And a lot of those people think it's just the physical part. It's the mental and
Totally.
the physical. Then it's the spiritual because you want to do it for the right reason. You're not doing it to attract the opposite sex. I think when you're 20s, you might have done it. But once you get over 40, it's like, man, I just want to be healthy. I want to look good. I want to feel good. My ligaments hurt. I can't do that same workout at 20 I did at 40, right? Right. I
Yes.
can't eat pizza like I used to eat pizza. I mean, I got to watch my meals after 6 o'clock. I want to indulge a glass of wine here and there, but I got to indulge one glass of wine versus two glasses of wine.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, Jessica, are not willing to make that sacrifice. So when they ask you, like, why do you look so great? Genetics. I've been doing this for 25 years,
That exactly. But genetics does have some, let's give some, like, yes, and right. It's like a combination of things. And
Yeah,
yes, since I was 7 years old, I've been an athlete.
sure.
And then when I couldn't walk that year, I demanded that I'm going to get back to being physically fit again and feeling like loving who I am. And like you said, it's mental and spiritually meditating and talking
Yeah.
to God. Let's talk for a minute. And this relates to what you're talking about is this kid who talks about looks maxing.
Yeah.
And, he looks soulless in his eyes and his being. He might look good on the outside, but he is not happy in the inside. And I'm sending him love, and I'm not, in no way am I, he also lives in Miami. In no way am I shaming him because we all have our own path. I hope that he finds his path to inner happiness and not just exterior happiness. Yes.
Seen him on TikTok. Yeah,
Yeah. I saw
his
him
eyes are
interview.
so nothing there.
Yes, I know. And part of it, I lived in Miami, so I understand that's where he grew up, is in Miami. And so I understand the distortion of life there. And at the same time, like I'm just sending him love because I feel for him. Again, not shaming because
Yeah, yeah,
have our own path, and I understand he also wants to have, Tony talks about we all need significance to feel significant. And so this is how he's doing it for himself. Some people use a gun and they're in gangs to find
yeah.
significance and power
Sure,
over people.
sure.
So I want to say something. I don't talk about this very often, but I'm going to share it. Because most men don't take care of themselves and later, I date younger. Not only physically, but also because their hearts are also, this generation of 30-year-olds have so much more, the way that their parents, not all of them, okay, but the way that their parents raise them are so much more affectionate and emotional intelligence, and they're still physically fit, right? And they also are working hard to where they're wanting to go. And I have a young heart and I've taken care of myself my whole life, and I'm just not dating someone that's not taking care of themselves and that also emotionally isn't taking care of themselves and spiritually. I'm not a religious person. I talk to God all the time, every day, always have, but I don't like box things of telling me what to do. Like I couldn't, anyways. So I I'm saying this because I know that there's someone, I'm trying to graduate to 40s now. I know there's someone that's in their 40s that has all these things. I don't, I've met a lot, I've been around a lot of people my age in their 50s, and I haven't seen someone that has the zest for life like me, and also looks younger than they are and doesn't want to just retire, right? I feel like I have so many. That's why I also left my ex-husband, because I have so many years left to accomplish all the things I want to accomplish, and it's not for anyone else, it's for me. So I want to say that because I hope that it's going to be motivating to men to go and take care of themselves. And
Yeah.
I don't want someone who's also like, women do so much, right? I'm not a natural blonde, right? I spend a lot of money on my hair. I don't do my nails because I don't care about that. But I want someone who takes care of themselves too, right? Who really puts
Right.
effort forth in their longevity. I do peptides. I don't do a ton. I know that's controversial. It's it's trending more that people are doing that right now. I take the ones where my trainer has done research and they do third party testing. Anyways,
Yeah.
there's a number of so many people just let themselves go, and this is the only body you have.
Mhm.
And you don't have to grow old, meaning physically unable to walk, or like my father, my mom, not my father, my mom's husband, he's 90 and still plays golf. It's
Wow.
incredible,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. To swing a club
Every
at 90.
day. Yeah, yeah.
It's people wonder why they look in others for happiness. It's truly, that's not the case. I think as you get older, you realize your happiness lies in within you. If you're not happy with your body, you're not mentally healed from whatever trauma you had, because we all had trauma as kids, right? We
Everyone.
project it on everyone. You have to, I
Mm-hmm.
think, as I turned 50 not too long ago, and I realized between 40 and 50, my dynamics I'm thinking was it my parents' fault? It wasn't my teacher's fault. It wasn't my best friend's fault. The circumstances I am is the choices I made in my life. And either I can accept those choices or I can sit there and go, okay, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? I'll work on my weaknesses
Absolutely.
more than I work on my strengths. And then you'll find that balance, right? And I truly believe that I think health is really, think about it too, Jessica. If I gave you $20 million today and you can't even get out of bed once a week, who
Right.
cares what the money is? You
Right.
can't
Right.
sit in a watch TV. You can't go out by the pool. You can't go for a walk. But you're rich. Rich in what? Rich in just paper, right? And a lot of
Health is
people don't
wealth.
realize that until later, And I keep getting on my son. He's 25. I was get your butt in the gym. It's not just for the girls. I did it for the girls in my 20s because I want to look good. But he's just like, no, I don't have any time. I want to be on a yacht in Miami because I live in Aventura. We used to have a house in Aventura, and I used to work on South Beach at Mango's Cafe. I was a bartender in my 20s there. So I know that lifestyle, and he's still in that
Yeah.
lifestyle. And he
Yeah.
always about, like you said, it's all about the scene. I go to the gym. No, Dad, if I have a Rolex and I have, the money and I have a Lamborghini and have all this stuff, they don't care. I'm like, who doesn't care about yourself? How about pride in your looks? Well, I'm a good looking kid. I go, you are, but take care of your body. You guys are out drinking till 4 o'clock in the morning at nightclubs, right? You're on the beach all day long. You got money coming in through social media because that's what you guys do, but there's no quality in your life. So I always ask my son, travel with me, come to Hawaii, go to Mexico, let's go rent ATVs, let's go skiing, let's go to Europe. No, Dad. I'm like, why? Oh, I want to be with my friends. I said, Miles, you're your friends all the freaking time. If you want to enjoy my money, come and travel with me. And this is one thing, Jessica, I'll share with this is really huge when it hit me. I think about 10 years ago, my son's 25. At the age of 15, he goes, Dad, if you die, I'm like, well, I hope not, Miles. But he goes, if you die, do I get all your money? Because he's the only child I have. I'm like,
Mm,
interesting question, Miles. I said,
yeah.
okay. I said, well, let me break it down two ways. One, your college will be paid for. I promise you, the day I die, there will be zero in my bank account for you. Because what do you mean? I go, that money that I'll be making will be spent on me, whoever I'm with. Your mom, friends, family, whatever. And by the time I'm died, there could be zero in my bank account. Do you know why that is, Miles? He's like, why is that? It's because I'm not here to provide a lifestyle for you. I'm here to take care of you and put you in a situation where I can make sure that you succeed. So your education is paid for. So he's like, well, okay, that's kind of messed up, Dad. I'm like, so if I were to leave you a couple $1 million in theory, Miles, what would you? Well, I would start my own company. I go, start your own company? You have no business knowledge of starting a company. Well, that way I can work from home. Like, Miles, it's not about starting your own company. Go out there and work the labor force. Use your hands, use your mind. Stop wasting your youth on me giving you money because I'm not going to give you a dime. And I go, this is the only way that you want to enjoy my money. You know how we can do that? When I ask you to come and visit me in Hawaii or Mexico or trips, come with me and enjoy it. If not, I'm going to enjoy it by myself. And he's just like, you're not a good dad, obviously joking. Just
Yeah.
leave me the money. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen that way. I hope most kids are not like that, but I feel like that generation, it's just like they want a handout, you know?
So, that is very frustrating. My kids are not like that. I'll give you an example of why. During the pandemic, well, first of all, let me preface it with how I was raised, and I started drinking in 8th grade on the border of Mexico in El Paso. Okay. So I realized as an adult, my kids need to be involved in something that is bigger than themselves. And so I didn't allow them to just not do anything. And even during the summers, I would let them have like 2 weeks off, but they had to do something. Every year I said to them, you have to commit to something, a sport, for a year. At the end of the year, if you don't want to do that sport, you can do something else. But it's a life skill to learn this. And so my son was an elite gymnast for 10 years. He from 7 years old through 17. And then he started doing bodybuilding towards the end. And then my daughter, she was more not consistent. She did swim team, she did dance, she did cheer club and high school for a couple years, and she did some acting things. But during the pandemic, though, I said to them both that colleges, because I think they were 15, because they were freshmen when it started. I said, colleges are going to ask you what you did during this time. You cannot sit in your ass. You have to do something during this time period. And so for my daughter, she actually started a business and she made $5,000 with her boyfriend. And they went to buy, to Goodwill bins and bought clothes you can hand pick, and they bought these graphic tees, and then sold them to all the high school kids and college kids, and we also shipped to other places, adults too, and they learn. I just learned this from her the other day. She learned about the labels, that it tells you the age of the label of how old this graphic tee was, and so she sold them anywhere from $20 to $100 per tee, and then she broke up with her boyfriend and she didn't want to do it alone, so she stopped. And then John, during the pandemic, since he was a gymnast, we just bought him equipment, and he like rope and stuff, and he did that. So my son right now is building an app he's a bodybuilder. He's won competitions. So he's going to create this app for bodybuilding. I mean, there's probably some synergy between you guys, and he's going to talk to Tia and Doug as well. And my daughter, so he's doing a gap year right now, and he did do some schooling. I did a gap year before it had a name. And my daughter is in her senior year for entrepreneurship, and she wants to have her own music studio. She can sing, and she's been working since she was 15. So I feel like my ex did not like them doing chores, but he traveled for a living. And so I said, you don't have to do these chores, but I'm here when dad leaves. And you can choose to what those consequences are if you don't do this when he's gone. And so I just raised them not better, right? But just differently. And luckily, look, David, my ex-husband, he didn't like that he's doing a gap year, right? That's uncomfortable for him. It depends on your perspective of how you look at what they're doing. Your 20s are the time that you're supposed to experiment and learn different things. And my daughter isn't doing, I know that I have connections in that industry. She's like, no, I don't want to do it that way. So she's doing her own path, right? So I think it just depends on a lot of different factors. Thankfully, because they were so involved in sports and during the year, they don't really drink or smoke anything or do anything. It's not that they haven't, right? I used to drink a lot, during the pandemic. That's what else did you do? Except then I started working out again. Anyway, so I think there's a myriad of kids of what this age group is. So we'll see what's going to shake out, right? Like,
exactly. So what is one habit should somebody start immediately? And then one habit they should,
well, that depends on them, which habit to stop. I mean, I think the biggest place to start and stop are connected is pouring love into yourself. I was obsessive about writing I love me, I love you, and I love you, Jessica, and for a whole year. And then you have to start paying attention to your thoughts, like documenting it. That's something that I learned with my mindset coach. So if you start paying attention each week, asking yourself questions, and AI is such a great way to do this because it's so good at prompting questions and getting you to think. So if you start paying attention to your negative thoughts that you're having during the week, start with something very that that, I don't know, like I'm not thinking of an example because I can tell you something I'm working on right now, but like, I don't know, like drinking, for example. Start, like if you're beating yourself up about drinking, start trying to add a habit that will help you, because I love that book, Atomic Habits, stacking it around something. So if you want to drink, maybe that's a reward. I mean, that's not the best thing, but maybe it's a reward that you get to have a drink at the end of the week after you've done XYZ a number of times, right? Like I like to have a glass of wine still. And to me, but I'm really good at, like, my friend she's not my friend, but this person who is an alcoholic. At her party, she would always put her hand on top of my glass when people were pouring more wine for people because she knew I'd stop it too. And so I don't know. So just finding something that's important to you that you want to change and paying attention to it during that week.
Yeah.
How about you? Tell me, what's yours? That's such a great question.
I think this past 12 months in particular, I just got more into the spiritual side of having a routine where I make sure I pray 10 minutes in the morning, and then try to pray 10 minutes during the day. If I'm on the way to the gym, I'll sit there and just shut off the radio and just asking for, guidance and asking for, am I on the right path today? Am I supposed to meet somebody today? Am I supposed to breathe life into someone today? Please give me any indication. Like a few times, like last month, I did that in the morning, and as a trainer there at Hive, he's actually one of my trainers now. Adrian. I don't know if you know him.
Okay. I know one. No, I don't know.
Yeah, there's Logan there as well. Logan's a good friend of mine. He's more into that spiritual thing, but I've known him now at the point for about 6 months, and I walked into that gym and it's pretty quiet in the morning. There's probably about 20 people in there. And I just looked over and I saw a cloud just hanging over him. And I just felt this energy. And God was telling me today that you need to help someone today. So I walked in and I see this energy of just negativity or something heavy on him. And I could just tell. I'm like just worried out through my whole workout. When he was done, I walked over like, hey, brother, I'm worried about you. Are you okay? He's like, he starts literally tearing up. He goes, my dad was killed yesterday. I'm like, what? Yeah, his dad lives in New Mexico. He was on a scaffolding. The scaffolding collapsed and killed him. And I think 3 months prior to that, his cousin got killed through some accident, and his mom died 2 years prior to that from cancer. So I'm like, it's a way for me to center myself and go, what's important? Having these dream trips, these houses and these cars and the money in the bank, or having connection with people. And we spoke for about an hour, and of course, you can feel what you can feel. But, to me, afterwards, a month later, he's like, I was really at a point where I had some really bad thoughts about myself because most of my family was wiped out. And thank you for
talking about
caring.
yourself or this guy?
No, I'm talking about Adrian. He's like, I really came to a point where I was just gonna kind of give up because they took my dad, took my cousin, took my mom, and I'm all alone here, right? And he's 40 years old. And he's a great guy. So, summer the same thing. We did that baptism at the gym. And she walked right up to me. She said, I got to tell you. She goes, you're one of the gatekeepers. I go, gatekeepers? Because I see you as a gatekeeper. What you did at Hive this past week of getting baptized, you moved the whole room. There's probably about 200 people in there that came to this event. Well, they did it for us. We thought it was going to be just gym members. They opened to the public, and about 200 people showed up. We have it on camera. We got baptized. They had a big tub of water put in. My wife was baptized. I was baptized. And then everybody else started saying, baptize me. And so we had another 20 baptized after us. And he goes, you moved the room. And I said, move the room? He goes, leaders don't know they're leading. But what you did was, you're the one that came up and says, I want to be baptized, and everybody followed your suit. Jack, your purpose is to pour life into people. And however that may be, whatever that plan is, you need to do that. And every time I see someone at the gym, she always has that big, fabulous smile. She's just full of energy. She's struggling right now. Her husband has cancer. I don't know if you're aware of that.
I know, yeah.
And he's going through some serious treatment, but she has a spirit of herself that just amazing.
Both of them.
Yeah, amazing. So, being around people like that and surround yourself in a community like that is huge, because these are people that generally are rooting for you and that want to do well. So my last question to you, because I have another one at 12, Jessica, would be, what does that prime standard mean for you, living at a prime standard?
Good question. I mean, honestly, that I just keep growing. It's like, just a habit is like brushing your teeth. You get to make a choice. Everyone brushes their teeth. And so you can make a habit just as easy as brushing your teeth. You had to create it. It just doesn't. There's a saying, Robin Sharma, that says, it's hard at the start, messy in the middle, and worth it in the end. And I really feel like it's giving yourself grace when you're actually building a new habit by looking at it in those 3 different phases. And I'm doing this one habit right now. This will how I finish it, that I'm doing 100 days of pouring all energy into myself, my business, and my friends, and not dating. I'm not flirting. I'm not focusing on men. And holy shit, what I've accomplished by not having so much energy going out to another person, and obviously my friends, but I've accomplished so much. And also my daughter came in town. I'm focusing on my kids, like just so many good things. So just build the habit of things that are important to you, what you need, what your own, because we all have different struggles, right? We all have different things that I feel, that hold you back. Obviously we have some similar ones, but I just don't, I was pouring a lot of energy into, I get a lot of attention from men, always have. And I decided for 100 days, I'm going to see what that doesn't look like by not focusing on that, like not walking outside and being whistled at or whatever, right? Like not just being in the zone with something that's really important to me instead. And so just really give yourself grace and try to create a habit, create a habit where it's going to be messy. I mean, it's going to be hard and then messy. There's going to be some time where you're in the middle of it, and then it's going to be worth it because you're going to feel empowered that you were able to accomplish something that was important.
Well, it was so nice to meet you, Jessica. I'm sure we'll cross paths because we know a lot of the same people, but we'd love to collaborate with you in the future. We can work on some things together, especially with your son. He's in fitness as much as we are. All right, Jessica, take care. Bye-bye.
This is the Jack Lima Podcast. For more resources to support your growth, visit the Prime 40 website. Until next time, stay focused and keep doing the work. Thanks for watching.